Hey everybody, just wanted to make a quick updated video on my Rune and TCY price predictions. So if you missed it about 2 weeks ago on April 24th, I made this video talking about what I thought, Rune and TCY would do with the, TCY launch being freshly announced that day. And then obviously going live on May 5th. So in that video, I talked about, what I thought Rune was going to do. You can see, the price at the time was 1.34. And I talked about how if the TCY launch was successful, which I was quite confident that it would be, I predicted that Rune would go pretty quickly back to $3 in terms of price, which is kind of where things were at, prior to the ThorFi collapse. So in my opinion, Rune is kind of kept down, by this, market dynamic of, ThorFi collapsing, and then, all the factors that go in with that. So, I figured once TCY, is launched and successful and people start getting paid back, and we've seen, more than half of the, claimers claim, I predicted that things would go back pretty quickly, and we are seeing that. So it's been a fun, 2-3 days now where Rune has really just had green candle after green candle. So, we went from that $1.30 floor that we were at for honestly a really long time. So you go back to January 30th is when we hit that 1.3. And obviously we dipped below that for a little while, but really came back up and just hovered around that 1.3 level for a really long time. So the past literally 4 or 5 months have been total accumulation mode. Um, if you believed in the protocol and what would happen, if and when TCY launched and was successful at saving Thorchain and obviously removing the debt completely from ThorFi. So, being that all of this was successful, my prediction to $3, still stands. Obviously, we just touched $2 as of this morning, so I felt like it was a good time to make a little update and see where things are at. So, we're just below $2 now. The rest of the market has actually started to correct a little bit. So Bitcoin's down at 101,000, I think, last time I looked. Um, so the rest of the market has corrected a little bit, but Rune has not lost the momentum that it has. So again, I think it's just severely undervalued from everything that's happened. So obviously, people have been looking into all the different things that have happened with the ThorFi collapse, and that needs to be priced in. So it was priced in that ThorFi collapse, and it was a really bad thing, and obviously not a good look for Thorchain. Some people thought the protocol might die. Obviously, it didn't. Came out stronger, in my opinion. Now we have no debt, we have no block rewards. There's a lot of efficiency-oriented changes being made in order to make swaps better, faster, cheaper. And that's going to lead to more volume, which leads to more protocol revenue, which is good for TCY holders and for Rune holders. So a lot of really good things shaping up out of everything that's happened. And that's like a general theme for Thorchain, in my opinion, is and really all decentralized protocols when you think about it. Is that they go through challenging times, the community rallies together, and then what you hope to see is the protocol gets stronger because people learn and the protocol adapts. People adapt the protocol to the things that happened and make it better for the future. So I think we've seen that in the past for Thorchain. There's been multiple moments for that. We've seen it with Bitcoin having its own moments over the years, and I think that's a good lens into how strong a protocol is how it's not about how good you are in the good times, because that's easy to be good. It's about how good you are in the bad times and how you essentially face those bad times and come out of them. So I think Thorchain has done really well at that. And again, kind of looking at that $3 price target being pretty soon. I mean, I would. It's really hard. Obviously, I'm not a trader. I don't try to predict timing. I'm much more of a time in the market type of guy. But I did see the event of TCY being a catalyst for Rune to go back to $3, which is where I think the market should be pricing it right now. If not a lot higher. So we're at 2 now. I think there aren't really any sellers, to be honest, around these prices. So I see us kind of going from 2 to 3 pretty quickly, probably in the next couple of days, if I had to guess. Obviously, not financial advice, and timing is the hardest thing to predict with any market, but I do think $3 is imminently going to happen. So the TCY launch, went super well. TCY has been also holding, around this 25 cent to 30 cent level. A lot of us have been eyeing this like 10% of Rune market cap number. Obviously, Rune has performed really well these last 2 or 3 days. So this number has dropped in terms of, TCY's market cap versus the Rune market cap. So we'll see what happens with TCY. It's a brand new token. There's really no historical data on what it does and what it will do. I think the best thing most of us can do is price TCY based on the predicted yield, because the yield is 10% of all Thorchain income forever. And then also look at Maya. I think if you look at Maya as a kind of historical lens to what TCY could be or how it could perform, I do think there's a little bit of rhyming that can happen between Maya and TCY. Obviously, there's some other dynamics for TCY because there's a TCY Rune pool. There is no Maya cacao pool. So in terms of TCY pricing, I do kind of see this 20 cent, 25 cent as like a total floor. I'd be really surprised to see it go below 20 cents ever. So it launched at 10 and immediately went to 20, and we didn't really see it go back below that. So I don't see it going below 20 cents. I think at this percent of Rune market cap, it is a steal based on the protocol revenues. One thing I've been kind of toying with is, as the market goes up, instead of taking profits into stable coins, I am thinking that taking profits into TCY might be a really good idea. Not because I think TCY is going to act like a stable coin, but I do see it acting as a more stable coin than something like Rune or other cryptos with volatility. So in terms of downside, I don't really see a ton of like bouncing around for TCY. I do think it's going to be like a long-term grind upwards. As that protocol revenue comes in, as the Thorchain protocol treasury essentially starts to get more TCY, and then buy it off the market. Because there's those different methods, and we had Alux on the podcast a couple weeks ago talk about that. So go look at one of those videos if you want to know those methods. But TCY is constantly being bought back off the market, and it is earning that income from Thorchain in perpetuity. So my price prediction for TCY, long-winded way of getting here, is I do see it going to $1. I think that's kind of like the designed target of TCY is to get to $1 so that all ThorFi holders get paid back, if they stay in it long enough. And obviously we have seen some people exit already. So I do think that it's like economically designed to grind upwards towards that dollar figure and potentially beyond, because you have those buyback methods. The question is all timing, right? Like, does that happen in the next 2 months? Does it happen in the next 30 days? Does it happen in the next 10 years? I don't know. I think it'll be sooner than 10 years. I think it'll be longer than 10 days. So how I'm playing that is buying some TCY very slowly, very programmatically. I think that's kind of the smart approach right now, because you just don't know what it's going to do. It's brand new, like I said. So I've been kind of slowly buying. I don't know if you'll be able to see with my camera in the way, but let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see if I zoom out. There you go. So if I zoom out, you can see I've got like 55,000 STCY. So obviously you buy TCY and then you can stake it into STCY, and then you can earn yield. The APR right now is about 3%. This APR fluctuates based on Thorchain income. Obviously, there's no inflationary block rewards. So again, I see like this kind of 25 cent level as a good point to buy. So really every time I see it drop near 25 cents, I start to buy. So that's been my approach. We'll see if it works out. I've also been obviously looking at like, selling some Bitcoin, ETH, Rune, and other things into TCY rather than stable coins. And then, like if Rune comes back down, buying back into Rune, and things like that. So I've been toying with that. Like I said, I don't think Rune's necessarily a good sell right now. I think there's no selling pressure between here and $3. So we'll see what happens. But I just want to do this quick update. I'll probably do a couple more because I do think the market is changing pretty rapidly. But the last video was from before TCY launched. Obviously, a lot's happened since then. So worth an update. I obviously am building LeoDex, so quick plug. Go to leodex.io for all your cross-chain swaps. And we built this really cool, I think really cool TCY dashboard for tracking the metrics and then being able to stake, unstake, and you can track your reward history and things like that. So that's all I got. I will see you guys for Chain Chatter this coming Wednesday. See ya.